everyone, welcome back to Playing Quietly. My name is Ryan, and today I am bringing you another Elden Ring guide. Today we're going to be discussing where to get each of the hanging pots, which are going to give us some very useful bell bearings for the new crafted items. The first one that we're going to be going after is closest to the River Mouth Cave Site of Grace. However, if you're unsure how to get there, we are going to start from the Temple Town Ruins Site of Grace, and just go ahead and follow the path on screen. Now, once we reach the cliffside here, we are going to be looking for these tombstones that we can hop down on. Now, once we reach the bottom of the tombstones and we are at the river mouth, we're going to go ahead and follow this path. And right here on the side of the rocks, we will see our first hanging pot. So go ahead and equip one of your bows and knock it down, and there we go, we have our first bell bearing. Now for our next bell bearing, we are going to continue on this path down the Elac River until we reach the Elac River downstream Site of Grace. After collecting that Site of Grace, we are going to go a little bit down the waterfall until we find a bit of a bridge. And right here is going to be our next hanging pot. We're going to shoot it down, and then we are going to go down and collect the bell bearing. For our next bell bearing, we are going to go to the Castle Front Site of Grace. We're going to follow the path along this way until we can grab the Pillar Path Waypoint Site of Grace. And we're going to continue on this path here until we reach this rock face here. And here we have our next pot that we are going to knock down and get our next bell bearing. For our next bell bearing, we are going to be making our way to the Cliff Road Terminus site of Grace, and we are going to run south towards Prospect Town, and on this little cliff here is going to be our next pot holding our next bell bearing. And right up there we can see our next pot. Our next bell bearing is going to be incredibly easy to find. All we need to do is go to the Recluses River downstream site of Grace. And if we turn around, we will see the bell bearing is right behind us. Now, in order to get the bell bearing, once we have knocked it down, we are going to follow these tombstones down the cliffside, but we do need to follow a correct path. And there we have our next bell bearing. For our final bell bearing, we are going to go to the Church District High Road site of Grace. We're going to ride south, and along the cliff edge here is going to be our final bell bearing. Now there are going to be a couple of wolves here, but we're just going to knock the pot down and go down the road, and we can collect our last bell bearing. And of course, with all of our bell bearings, if we return to the round table hold and then bring them to the Twin Maiden husks, we'll be able to turn them in and we can buy the resources that they provide in an infinite amount. And if we take a look in the shop, we now have access to fly mold, mushroom, toxic mushroom, root resin, rata fruit, red flesh mushroom, white flesh mushroom, and knot resin. Alright guys, that's all I have for you for today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, hopefully I've earned your subscription. Don't forget to check back for more Elden Ring content, but until then, we'll see you guys next time. Have yourselves a good one.